Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. In today's video, we're going to be going over Wavedash 2023. And while this event just missed out on being a major, it is a B+ tier. It is still insanely stacked, and we're going to be going over who could potentially win it. In 13th place for seeding, you have Naito, Nico, Larry Lur, and Atreus. 9th place, you have Monty, Andrek, T3 Dom, and Wrath. For top 8, you're going to have in 7th place MBD and MK Big Boss, Capitancito and Luis in 5th, Lima in 4th, Chase in 3rd, Sonics in 2nd, and of course, Leo in 1st. So let's start this off by talking about the Bayonetta players at the tournament. We'll get to Lima in a little bit because he is in that top 8, but I want to talk about Deathspade and Demon for now because at least for Deathspade, I think he's a little bit underseeded. He's supposed to lose to Capitancito in the winner's side of bracket, which admittedly isn't an amazing draw just because they've never played offline, and if you don't have a ton of Mii Gunner experience, it's already going to be tough versus Capitancito because his Mii Gunner is like 30 times better than everyone else's, so that's a little bit unlucky. I also think Bayonetta does amazing in that matchup, so I wouldn't be super shocked if we saw the Sora come out. Deathspade's one of the few Bayonetta players with some really strong secondaries. I feel like it's just him and Bloom, and the rest of them are usually just using Bale, which is super fair, by the way, because that character is incredibly hard, one of the hardest in the game, and also incredibly good. These Bale players have definitely made me see the light, and I think Deathspade can make upsets over Tyranx and Capitancito in the winners and losers side of bracket. Same thing for Demon. Demon is supposed to lose to Larry Lur in the winner's side of bracket, which is kind of like a coin toss because sometimes Larry Lur is playing insanely good. Like, he just looks like you cannot beat him. Back to Smash 4, he's a top 10 player in the world, and it's usually at regionals when he does that, so maybe Demon's going to be a little bit worried there. But I still think, even if Larry Lur is playing well, that Demon can make that upset. And then in the lower side of bracket, he's supposed to go against Naito, and Bayonetta can destroy Kazuya. It is incredibly hard for Kazuya to get his hands on this character, so we'll have to see, does Demon know the matchup well? And I feel like you kind of have to at this point, especially with Bayonetta. So I definitely think that both Deathspade and Demon could perform their seeds, because Bayonetta right now, this is a character that's been being pushed super far in the current meta, one of the most improved characters right now since like the start of the quarantine era to now. It feels like they've just gotten insanely better, and I think that trend is going to continue. Next play I want to talk about is going to be Andrek, and I think he has a very real chance of getting top 8 at this tournament. Now, he is supposed to go against Capitancito, which again is never really a good draw unless you have a ton of experience versus him, and they do have no offline sets recorded, so that one's kind of a coin toss. That also said the matchup is fairly even as well. But the way that Andrek is able to close the distance and apply pressure with Captain Falcon, I definitely think that he can get an upset over Capitancito. And if he does do that, he's supposed to go into either Chase or Larry Lur. Larry Lur, he's down. He just lost to him at DreamHack, so he's down 0-1 lifetime. Chase, he is up 4-3 lifetime, so going a little bit back and forth. Again, none of these matches are going to be free for Andrek, but I think he is a caliber player where he can win all of them. But let's say he does get knocked down to the loser side of bracket. He has to go against Varun, which he should be able to win. I don't think Wii Fit does particularly amazing versus Falcon. Then he would go into Larry Lur. Already talked about that. It is 1-0 in Larry's favor, though I do think that Andrek can make the upset, and then he would go into MBD. And the only time that these guys have ever played, it was at the LSI, and Andrek was able to take it. So I think there's a couple ways that Andrek can make top 8. It's definitely going to be a lot of work that he has to put in, but he has been such an impressive player for me recently. I feel like at the major level, we haven't seen him perform a ton, but we've also haven't seen him at a ton of majors. But whenever he's going to these regional events, he is crushing everyone. He is insanely talented, and I'm really looking forward to watching him play. Now, we're not going to be going over any other players' runs in depth before the top 8, but I do want to give a shout out to SoCal at this tournament because it is a SoCal tournament, but they are showing up big here. You have so many of SoCal's top talent that could all perform and definitely get top 8 here. You have Nico, you have Naito, you have Tyranx, you have Marvelous Marco, you have AC, you have Ignace, you have Ketchup showing up. It's just so many of their top talent coming. Monty as well as another one. So I'm excited to see how SoCal does perform at this event. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of them were able to sneak into the top 8. T3 Dom as well. I haven't seen him at a big event in a while. And you have Wrath. Whenever Wrath shows up to stuff, he's always a player that could definitely make the top 8. And I'm pretty sure he's been grinding with Sonics as of late, which is one of the best players in the world to grind with right now because Sonics is ridiculously good. So I think SoCal's probably going to farm this event. I know, crazy for me to predict that SoCal's going to farm when half the bracket is SoCal, but hey, I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say that they get a couple players in the top 8. Our 7th place seeds are MBD and MK Big Boss. And looking at MK Big Boss recent performances, he does have this really nice win at DreamHack San Diego with wins on Peckham, Dark Wizzy, 2 wins on Kurama, and Larry Lur. Then he does get this 65th at Battle of BC, which obviously isn't amazing, losing the run back to Larry Lur. So that's a little bit of a low draw, though I do definitely think that this is a red herring, and he will bounce back here. And then you have MVD. Now, we haven't seen MVD at a major since Collision, where he did end up getting 13th, beating MK Big Boss. Then he has a 9th place at Combo Breaker, and a 2nd place at DreamHack Dallas with a crazy loser run, being Teaser, Cannon Red, Skeleton, Caden, Johnny, Lima, Dakpo, and Budace once before losing in the reset. This is an incredible run from MBD, and I'm really hoping to see him carry some momentum from that run into this weekend because he's an amazing player. I think MBD and MK Big Balls can both definitely overperform their seeds, but they could also bust her out before they even get into the top 8 because they do have a couple hard matches beforehand. So I'm hoping these guys are able to perform because they give some of the best gameplay of their respective characters. In 5th place, you have Capitancito and Luis. Starting off with Capitancito, it's kind of the same thing as MK Big Boss. Really nice performance at this regional of Low Tide City, with a 2nd place wins on Gatsby, Skyjay, Teaser, Apollo Kage, and Meister. Then he has a bit of an underperformance at Battle of BC with the 49th here. But then you have Luis, he has a 17th place at Crown, gets a win on Risk Taker, only loses 2 really close sets to Tweak and Chase, and he actually wins Gateway Legends as well, with wins on Peanut, Beast Mode Paul, Base Mage Lima, and Apollo Kage. Now, for the Wavedash bracket, you have Capitancito versus Lima and Chase versus Luis. Now, Capitancito would have already had to have beaten Deathspade to get to this part of the bracket, so you assume that he would know how to play against Bayonetta, though it could, of course, have been Sora, so you might want to favor him there. I don't know how much experience Lima has versus this character. And then you have Chase in the run back versus Luis. Now, Chase did win it the last time that they played, but 1, it's a run back. 2, it's a run back versus Luis. And 3, it's a run back that's going to be a ditto. So this could go literally anyway. Like, I have no idea how it's going to go. You're obviously still going to favor Chase because he is the higher seed. He did win the last one, and he overperformed Luis at the last tournament they were at, which was going to be Crown. So you are going to want to favor Chase for that one, but this is honestly a 50-50 matchup. It could go either way. Lima Capitancito, I'm very curious to see how that one's going to go. I feel like that's just going to be matchup check after matchup check after matchup check from both players, and we're going to see who has the better gimmicks. Editing proof block here, I just want to mention that Lima and Capitancito, they have played one set at First Strike where Lima was able to take it. Now, it was Game 5, and this was 8 months ago, so it was very close, and Capitancito has leveled up massively since then, but also so has Lima. So this is going to be another very interesting set to see who wins it. There's still going to be a ton of gimmicks. It's Me Gunner involved, it's Bayonetta involved, everyone's got tricks up their sleeves, but there's only more drama behind it now. In 4th place, you have Lima, 3rd place, Chase, and Lima's result at the major level recently have been looking incredible. Major and regional level. He's a 5th place at Collision with wins on Pink Cage, Shiny Mark, Karama, Ling, and Tweak. 2nd place at Battle for the South, having a really nice loser's run, beating Vendetta, Mutace, Pima, Anathema, Goblin, and Apollo Kage. 5th at Royal Brawl, 17th place at Maizuma Top 12, getting a win on Matsunabe and a couple other players. 17th at Kaguribi 10, most notable win there is on Hikaru. 3rd place at Gateway Legends with wins on Deathspade, Goblin, Doorstop, and Beast. 4th at DreamHack Dallas, beating Cannon Ren, Atomic, DJ Dawn, and Beastly. As you can see, just really strong across the board, but Chase has also been doing really well across the board. He has a top 8 at Major Upset, beating Ouch, Embo Z, Jojo the Hobo, Valor. 5th place at DreamHack San Diego, beating Rugal and Monty, as well as Marvelous Marco. He's a 5th place at MSM Zero, which is only a local, but topping that local is like topping a regional at this point. 7th place at Crown the Third, which is going to be his best run to date, getting wins on Monty, Valor, Luis, T, and Light to be able to make top 8 at a super major of that caliber. Both these guys are going to be very interesting going in. Now, Chase has never played Lima in tournament before, and you know that Lima has a lot of experience versus Palatino, so I'm curious to see how that is going to go. I would still favor Chase just the way that he's been playing as of late, but Lima's one of those players that sometimes just says, yeah, I'm going to be playing like I'm top 10 in the world right now. You literally just can't hit me because I'm going to be camping you across the stage. So that could honestly go either way. A lot of the matches in this tournament could go either way up until we get to the top 2. Now, our top 2 of this tournament is Leo and Sonics. And we're not even going to go over the results because you know that they're pretty damn good. And the reason that I didn't go over people that I think were going to win this tournament is because I think it's either going to be Leo or Sonics, because I think these players can get upset. There's multiple people that could upset one of these players. I think Chase could take a win. I think Lima could take a win. I think Luis, if he's playing on fire, could take a win. Capitancito has to potentially go against Sonics, which could be pretty interesting because they go back and forth. Though Sonics does win a majority of the time, Capitancito has definitely been punching back a lot more recently. So I definitely think one of those players could get upset, but I would be very shocked if both Leo and Sonics got upset. So if I had to guess who's going to win the tournament, it's going to be between the top 2 seeds. A little bit boring, I know, but to be fair, both those players are top 10 in the world. They are incredibly talented. Sonics is coming off a little bit of an underperformance at Crown, though, so I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to bounce back from that. The answer is probably going to be yes, by the way, because it is still Sonics. He's still at 2nd place at MomoCon the week prior. Leo had a pretty good Crown as well, most notably getting a huge win on Spargo. I don't think we're going to see Aegis from him this tournament, though he could. It's Leo. He could bust out literally any moment. If I had to guess, it'd be a combination of Byleth and Joker. Not really sure which one he's going to lead with, but we'll have to see when it comes down to the actual tournament. But in terms of people that are going to win it, I think Leo and Sonics are heavily favored. But that's all I have to add, and I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm curious who you guys got taking the tournament. If there's a player that I left out, which they're liking this because there's a lot of top talent attending this event, just let me know down below. I'll be sure to go over the run. And that's all I got to say. Sport's been absolutely unreal. Thank you guys for everything. Be sure to sub, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.